So many things we thought about last Monday just don't seem as important today. So much of our national life has become different by the end of this week. It's something Nightline's Donovan has been noticing and now reports on.
A lot of smart people have remarked over the past few days that the world as we knew it here in the United States changed forever on Tuesday. 5 words sum it up. We are not safe anymore. In reality, we're probably at no greater risk today than we were when the week began. But if you go back now and look at what we were all talking about when the week began, at what we thought mattered to us, especially as it was recorded in the media, it really does seem like it was another world back then, all that time ago, before Tuesday, just before 9 in the morning.
Can it really be that what most of the newspapers were highlighting on their front pages this past Monday morning was the big game, or the big match, or the big record?
Plus, superstar Michael Jordan in the news, the strongest.
And of course, on television, it was the big story.
It would be terrific to see him back.
It seemed so important then. It seems like such a luxury now.
We in the National Football League have decided that our priorities for this weekend are to pause, breathe, and reflect.
What were the papers saying that we worried about this past Monday morning and Tuesday morning? Layoffs, which are real. The ethics of stem cell research, which are important. But what about all that fretting we did this year about how to age, and how to keep healthy, and how to stay happy? And all that airtime given to a hyped-up sex scandal. Has it even been mentioned once these past 4 days? This morning, the congressman was at the memorial service in Washington, and the media left him alone. Things have changed for the president as well. A poll published Tuesday morning showed his approval ratings were slipping over his handling of the economy. Now he has record high approval and the support of Congress. And one Washington reporter expects that you'll be seeing less cynicism from people who cover the nation's capital.
The impact of this, even we as journalists haven't even begun to absorb. When I looked at the pictures this morning of the ash and papers that had fallen over the graveyard in Lower Manhattan, you see an image like that and you're gripped again. We haven't begun to absorb this yet. And I think that cynicism will take quite a long time off now.
A lot of the Monday morning newspapers, as it happened, dealt with a suicide attack, but it was, as it always seemed to us, someone else's problem, Israel's. Usually the U.S. response to events like this is something like this one after a previous attack.
My reaction is that I would hope that the Israelis would show restraint on all fronts.
Perhaps restraint feels like more of a luxury to us now. It's been a pretty good run for prosperity these last few years, especially for people who worked in New York's financial district. Owning stuff seemed so important. Monday's newspapers again, they were full of the usual ads.
And now, well, as you know, the networks aren't even running commercials for the time being. As for shopping, buying stuff, a lot of people seem to have lost their appetite for that this week. The Washington Post quoted a Neiman Marcus salesperson who said that she felt ridiculous selling lipstick this week with, as she said, all the death, the tragedy.
Priorities shifted when those buildings came down. Yesterday we heard this put most eloquently and painfully by the head of a Wall Street firm who lost 700 of his 1,000 employees in the attack.
I think it's amazing, and I think it's amazing. You have 300 people. They lost all their friends. They lost the person to their left. They lost the person to their right. And they call me up and they say, I want to go to work. I said, why do you want to go to work? Let's just go to funerals. And they go, no, I want to go to work. I can't stay home. I can't stay home. I have to work. I have to do something. And so they actually wanted to try to figure out how to be in business. It's unbelievable. It's great. It doesn't make sense. But the reason they want to be in business, and there's only one reason to be in business, is because we have to make our company be able to take care of my 700 families. 700 families. I have 700 families.
President Kennedy has been assassinated. It's official now.
38 years ago, when a U.S. president was murdered, people also sensed that the world had changed forever. There is now a memorial to John Kennedy in the plaza where he was shot, and today many people felt drawn to that spot.
You go to bed at night and you can still see that plane go into the side of the building, and you can still imagine the people that were in that building, and to make the choice that I jump rather than die where I am, you just, that doesn't go away, and it's the last thing you think about at night and the first thing you think about in the morning.
We used to think all these things happened overseas to the people in Europe, and now with each of the events that have taken place, they're just coming on our shores, and you wonder what's going to be next.
Which is not something we really worried about much before Tuesday, but when a plane passed overhead while these interviews were in progress, it made people jumpy.
Troubling to me was to see it in the path that it was headed, right over the Bank of America Tower. Quite frankly, it was a little disturbing to think that they're allowing planes fly in that direction.
But out of all this, there has also been another shift. For the first time in ages, we may be seeing heroes, real heroes, not athletes playing a game, or celebrities playing a role, or politicians playing for votes, but quiet people taking real risks that they don't have to, and for no reward. And another good thing since the world changed on Tuesday, it's that sense of community we can all feel. It always comes out in times of trouble. This week it was trouble such as we have never seen before. Maybe for that reason, this newfound sense of community has a chance of lasting a while, perhaps even long enough to outlive our newfound fears. I'm John Donovan for Nightline in Washington.